Hello, my name is Clint, and in this video I will be discussing the positive and negative externalities created while producing energy from coal, as well as how I would go about trying to internalize those externalities for my microeconomics class. Today I'm going to talk about the externalities of power made by coal. I'll start with some facts on how much coal is used in the US, move on to the background of how power is generated from coal. Next, I'll talk about what an externality is, and then I'll move on to what the positive and negative externalities are from power created by coal. Next, I will talk about how to internalize externalities, and finally how I would approach internalizing the externalities produced from coal, and finally my conclusion. Coal is one of the most abundant fuels in the fossil family. The use of coal has been around since the 1700s, used during the Industrial Revolution. Even though coal has been around for such a long period of time, it is still one of the most used forms of energy. It was roughly 33% of the US's total energy generated, and an astounding 41% of global energy. That and natural gas are the highest forms of energy the US uses. The United States alone has about 260 billion tons of coal that can be recovered. That amount of coal would be enough to create energy at the same rate we are today for 235 years. One way that coal is converted into electricity is through steam coal. In order to do this, the coal is made into a fine powder and blown into pulverized coal combustion systems. The hot gases and heat that is created causes water that are in tubes lining the combustion chamber to turn into steam. The steam is then high pressured so it can turn turbines, which creates the energy. Another way that coal is converted into power is by fluidized bed combustion. This is the process in which coal is inserted into a bed of particles suspended in air that react with the coal to heat the boiler and make steam. An externality is the cost or benefit that affects a party who did not choose to incur that cost or benefit. There are two types of externalities, negative and positive. A negative externality is an economic activity that imposes a negative effect on an unrelated third party. A positive externality is the positive effect an activity imposes on an unrelated third party. Both of these can arise during the production or the consumption of a good or service. A simple example of a positive externality would be medical research. People who don't pay for the research to be conducted or are not involved in producing it can still benefit. A simple example of a negative externality would be air pollution. A person that might not have bought or sold the electricity but still bears the cost of the pollution affecting their asthma would be considered a negative externality. Reliability is a benefit for everyone. No matter what, coal can be used to produce energy because of the technology used, so that is a great way for the United States to avoid situations like a blackout. The production of coal is also a very affordable resource. This is a benefit for manufacturers as well as consumers of the energy. This makes prices of energy also more affordable. Carbon dioxide is also a benefit from energy produced by coal. The higher levels of carbon dioxide in the air help humans indirectly. This helps with the growing of more food and the quality of the food. It is shown to increase the potency of beneficial substances in our food. This ultimately will help us be healthier. The abundance of coal benefits people in ways such as jobs for mining the coal, energy to come for many years. The advanced technology that we have for producing energy from coal also gives other technologies such as solar and wind to better their technologies to help with the production of energy in the future. This could help reduce pollution and use more coal to export and sell instead of using for energy in the future. Lastly, the safety of energy being produced is much safer than other techniques such as nuclear power. If a coal plant fails, it isn't going to cause a catastrophic event, which would indirectly affect third parties like a nuclear plant failure would. The first cost is the greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases are released when the coal is combusted. They absorb infrared radiation, which then traps heat and warms the atmosphere. This is called the greenhouse effect. This leads to global warming, and this also costs others to have to research and develop plans to stop this from happening. Mining is the next negative externality. Mining destroys habitat. This can cause others' property value to lower if it's near a mine. This also can cause people to have to move out of those mining areas. Mining also has deaths. This affects the families of those people that lose their loved ones. Other substances are also released from coal power plants such as arsenic, carbon monoxide, mercury, and many others. These substances can affect the health of others that may come into contact with it. These substances can also create acid rain. Acid rain can be very harmful to fish and other wildlife if it is washed into streams, ponds, rivers, etc. Internalizing externalities is taking into account the external costs it creates. These costs can be positive as well as negative. This can be done by creating taxes, giving out loans, subsidies, etc. My approach to internalize the externalities from power produced by coal would be to increase the cost of coal. Right now, coal is sold without the cost of the externalities being considered. Once that cost is considered, energy produced by coal, according to Epstein et al., will be more than most of the other forms of energy. Next would be to have smokestack scrubbers implemented into energy plants. All energy plants should be required to have these so that pollution is minimized. Carbon sequestration is the process of capturing carbon and storing it in the earth. This will cause global warming to be slowed down. Mining has been increasing its safety throughout the years and has set procedures into place to prevent harm to miners as well as complete destruction to the environment. With those procedures being in place, the externality has been internalized. Thank you for watching my microeconomics presentation on the positive and negative externalities of power produced from coal.